1 second, guys. Just 1 second. 1 second. Let me let this ambulance pass by, and I'm gonna continue with you guys. All right. Thank God that's over. So anyway, as many of y'all know, this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to talk about guys because I kind of headed off with this earlier, so I wanted to do like a continuation of it, just a little bit further, or whatever the case may be. And damn sure, like God pretended. You know what I mean? Look at that right there. Hold on, let me zoom in. Y'all see that right there? And they grabbing hands. So this is exactly the shit I was talking about. I want to talk to you guys about. There seems to be somewhere in the air, I don't know what happened over the past 5 years, but for some reason or another, men have been a facilitator of, let's say, monetarily supporting women that are on Onlyfans. So when we talk about the dating market and we talk about how it's screwed up now, and let's just be blatant, it is. If you guys watch any of the shows that come on, even myself, Fresh and Fit, or anybody else, you'll know that the current dating market is, you know what I mean? And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I think that's meant for a specific type of woman that's looking for what she's looking for. And I hope 10 to 15 years from now, when you're older and you get divorced and replaced by a younger woman, that you kept that same gumption. Now, because that's what happens. I'm a guy. I know how guys think. All right? Unless you're in love with her, you don't keep her. Especially if you're a man of opulence, a man that has a couple of dollars to his disposal. I was in the music business for 18 years. I saw some guys go through 3 or 4 women. It was like, this is the one. This is the one. Yeah, right. She's with you because she's a predator. And respectfully so. There seems to be within the ecosphere of the whole dating situation, all the dating vlogs, all the relationship coaches, and everything else, right? For some reason or another, they left out this one equation. You guys are funding these chicks. You're giving them the go-how when you got 4, 5s, and 6s normally in life. Now pretending like they're 8, 9s, and 10s. And we know the difference between 8, 9s, and 10s and 6 and 7s. Now this extends further than just looks. It extends with personality. It extends with who you are visibly, like who do you look like aesthetically. I can look at you and tell you weigh 250 pounds. It's no amount of pressure you're going to apply to me to make me think otherwise. And that doesn't mean you're a bad woman. That doesn't mean that you can't be a great woman. But what it does mean is you have to stick with reality. Now, I'm not against body positivity. I think a lot of the women out there, they deserve it. I think a lot of the women out there, they really keep themselves, if you want to say the best word, humble, while they're displaying their body positivity, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, or any other social media site. I have no problem with that. It's when the narcissism comes in behind it and you start talking about men in a tone of being a misandrist, when in reality, if it wasn't for these men, you wouldn't have reached 80,000 followers. If it wasn't for these men, you wouldn't have reached 150,000 subscribers within 1 month on Onlyfans. If it wasn't for these men, you wouldn't make anything. Because most women are not coming to check out other women or subscribing to an OnlyFans. Can I get just a moment of peace for that? This little statement right there alone. Are women prioritizing these OnlyFans sites? No, it's men. And these same men will get online. Now, I'm not playing sides, but I'm just keeping it a buck. These same men will get, and you can't tell me nothing about women. I went all across this country with Bad Boy Entertainment. Any club you're talking about, the W, including the hotel I'm behind right now, Mace Film, feels so good right here. Attached to my record label. This is the Trump Tower Hotel, well, Trump International Hotel. Usually I'm at the other Trump. But we literally been in here 6, 7 times. You know what I mean? Small rooms, I will say that. But the point I'm getting at is this, guys. These men with their lust, these men that can't find dates, these men, they are now basically pawns in making certain type of women, a certain type of caliber, usually of the lower elk, feel like they're special more than what they are. Now, a couple of years ago, and the reason I think I can speak about this more vividly than anything, because I remember a time I started in the music business in 1999. 1999 coming into 2000. I stayed for 18 years almost. I saw the transition from what you call the video vixen now to where it is now with the OnlyFans girls. And a lot of the same behavior was displayed by those girls back then. A lot of these girls are coming back now and they say, oh, I was a victim. Oh, this happened to me. No, you voluntarily did that because you thought it was an opportunity. You were an opportunist. And when that opportunity didn't display itself, it didn't manifest the way you wanted it to. Well, not all girls, but many girls will seek to go to the second round. I'm writing a book. A tell-all. You know what I mean? Speaking of that, remember Stormy Daniels? I had to say that as I'm standing right here in front of Trump. A lot of people ask me that or whatever. They say, yo, why you always around Trump's buildings and everything like that? Because some folks know me. They should stay right on Fifth Avenue. Shout out to Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church. I always say it when I'm in front of it. That's why I always say that. And you notice I've never had a problem. Never had a problem. I was out there one time. There was 40 cops out there. It was right when they had the Capitol riots or whatever. And I was standing out there and I was reporting on that then. Not one cop looked at me. Nobody looked at me. And I don't brown nose. I don't shine shoes. I don't do any of that stuff. That's what makes me different from a lot of these guys. I don't do the brown nose or to change up the octave. I live in Connecticut. I don't have to change my octave. For what? Fuck you. You know what I mean? So anyway, back to what the story is here, the premise. It's about women. Are these women truly the divas that they think they are? Are these women really the go-to to chase after, the it girl, as we used to call it one time? And I don't think they are. I watch Fresh and Fit almost every other night. I don't agree with everything they have on there, but I do take demographics of the women that they have on there. And a lot of these women have not graduated high school, which they admitted themselves. A lot of these women haven't furthered their education, which they admitted themselves. I can't make this up. And the funny thing about it is, out of all of this, many of these women have children. And some of them, believe it or not, have boyfriends and husbands. You know how lowbrow of a man you gotta be to go out there and let your girl jump on OnlyFans? I got two sisters. If any of my sisters ever came to me and said a motherfucker told them to get on OnlyFans, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I would do. I know me and my uncles would be on our way over there. Here, have what these biz. I know that much. Let me find out you got my sister doing some OnlyFans. But yes, you got men out here that encourage their women to do OnlyFans and are quite fine with it. This 5 years ago, we would have called them a cuck. Now these same men sit around and they're proud. Oh, my girl made 1.5 last year. Yeah, taking the clothes off. And if you two either go any further in your relationship, know this. 10 or 15 years from now, when you have a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, whatever, they're going to look at those same videos. People in your kids' school are going to be sharing it. They're going to be like, ain't that your mom? Damn, mama. I've seen videos online where women actually have their kids filming for them. How many of y'all seen that? You see the kid in the mirror or something like that, or whatever the case may be. So like I say to you guys before, are the women to blame or are the men to blame? And I think it's a dose of both. I think a lot of women don't want to come to the contention of this. When you decide to go on OnlyFans as a career move just because of money, that merely means that you really don't believe in yourself. A lot of these women have went to college, as they display many a times with different programs you can see. And shout out to Mr. Let Go for shutting down Brittany Renner tonight. I saw that, bro. Mr. Let Go, if you see this, y'all make sure y'all go check out Mr. Let Go's page. Tell him Davin Lewis sent you over there. Make sure y'all go check him out. He destroyed Brittany Renner. It's a running clip right now. Brittany Renner is like the thought godmother, if you want to say. You know, she's trapped up a whole bunch of guys with the same route. I'm gonna write the tell-all book. You guys have got to start. Listen, I'm saying this to any of my friends that are in the music business or trying to burgeon themselves into the music business. Being somebody that was in that, one thing that Puff taught all of us, do not have a whole bunch of chicks in your room. Do not be finagling around with chicks. Do not make them false promises. Do not tell them, hey, I'm gonna bring you back to New York. We didn't do any of that. We didn't do any of that. And it stayed fast to this day. So I want to give a shout out to Puff for at least teaching us that. Fellas, you got to start getting non-disclosure agreements going on with these women. It's just important as a prenuptial agreement nowadays. Because if you don't, you may be exposed for your DMs. Hey, baby, what's going on? You look really good. You think I can hook up with you? No, why are you bothering me? Why are you harassing me? And then she got an OnlyFans click right in the link in the bio. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Ladies, you are on your way to being known in Generation Z as our generation's whores. What? This generation's whores. It is what it is. And what you're going to find when you hit the wall around about 30, 35, 40, and And these same men see your history as far as dating is concerned. When they see your history as far as when you were on programs online, on YouTube or wherever, getting interviewed thinking you're cute. Yeah, I'm on Onlyfans. I make $1.2 million a year. And a giggle, 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 giggle. You're going to look back at your former 22 self. You're going to look back at your former 25 self, and you're going to say to yourself, what the hell was I thinking? And many of these girls are waking up to the front right now because I've seen a lot of these girls, not only on the shows that I frequent, but there's friends that have blogged this as well on YouTube, and they said the same thing. I wish I wouldn't have done those videos. I wish I wouldn't have done this. I wish I wouldn't have been an escort. We have made prostitution in this generation basically regular. What's going on, bro? Yusef, what's going on? Okay, Yusef. That's really your name? I got a homosexual in here. Let me get him out of here. Homosexuals usually come in and they want to talk to you like that. I'm not a homosexual man, sir. You take care. And let us get this other guy out of here. You take care. Now, guys, if you're with me, I don't argue with people that come in and do that. I got 10.5K subscribers, 1.9 million views. I'm not arguing with anybody. My shit is on print. I don't have to argue with no one. He said, your name is really Davin Lewis? Yeah, because I switched my name back from the Rich Money Club. I had it decided first, then I decided just to switch it off. I said, I don't want to do that anymore. Once again, as you saw on display right there in my own chat room, you see what I'm talking about. Now, Yusuf usually is consistent with a man that's, I don't know, let's say African American. Now, let me get on to them specifically. And then I'm going to target the white man because you're the second one in line. You understand what I'm saying? If not the first one in line to being cucks nowadays. But I want to center in on black and white men, and I'll get to Latin men as well. Black men nowadays have become so lustful, and I think the lust is there, and white men as well. They have become so lustful that they are basically funneling and financing these girls' whole careers. And then these are the same men that jump on programs and they say, oh, the dating market's messed up now. Well, you helped create it. You helped create it. Take the time one day and say to yourself, when you go past the next nakedly clad girl on your YouTube, or the next nakedly clad girl, or the girl that's tempting you and saying, please send me $400 to my Cash App, or whatever the case may be, right? The next time you check out one of these girls like that, make a decision and say, you know what? I'm not going to like this post. See, it's all about basically, y'all got to excuse me. I just saw one of these. Speaking of black men, there's this tote of black men that runs around, right? And if you act a certain way, just like those guys in it, your name is really Davin Lewis? Yes, my name is Davin Lewis. My sister's name is Valerie Lewis. Yes, we have nice names. You know why we have nice names? Because my mother was worried about what our futures would be. My father was worried about what our futures would be. What kind of silly question is that? And when you look deep into it, it's a grown man saying it. So that goes to show you, if he'll sit there and be that immature to say something like that, then that goes to let you know how his decision making goes within life. And I'm trying to tell you, a lot of these men are under the spell. I think the demographics was the top women that are sleeping with men are in somewhere within a 10 to 20% margin. Okay, that means men that are opulent or whatever, they're getting all the vajay. Okay, let's just put it that way. They're getting the vajay. So if you make over, I don't know, $100,000 for a chick that's really worth about $20 from the housing projects, I'm lying. A chick that's worth maybe $80 from the trailer home, am I lying? A girl that comes from poverty but all of a sudden wants it all, am I lying? You can look at some of these girls, and I'm especially talking about black men, some of these women that are out here and they're yelling that you should have the most and you're taking penitentiary chances to get the most for these same women. These women are not worth your time. They're not worth your time. And if you see the end results, you guys end up in court, you guys end up in divorce court, child support court. Some of you guys are getting censored out because of how much you're worth. So these girls are purposely coming to you and having children with you. And then once Brittany Renner, once she found out she was pregnant and she had a child, she went automatically and filed divorce. Her boyfriend at the time, or husband, and whether, I'm not sure if I can confirm that, but her husband, well, yeah, she got a divorce, so it was her husband. Her husband at the time ended up owing her almost $200,000 a month. $200,000 a month. And you men have got to start being alert that there are women out there that are doing this. There are black women out there doing this, white women out there doing this, Latin women out there doing this, Asian women out there doing this. And not to be funny, but most of the time I see minority girls doing it the most because they have this fear of going back to poverty. Now, everybody knows that everybody African American is not in poverty. Everybody that's Latin did not grow up in poverty. Me, myself, my grandfather owned a funeral home for years. He buried everybody. You know what I mean? Anybody you could think of, they came through Hamlin and Curtis Funeral Home. A lot of these other women and a lot of these other people in the same situations, they don't grow up like that. They grow up very poor. And what they do is they start developing this thing within them where they almost hate themselves, they hate you, and they hate anything associated with you. And this is not a woman that you want to keep around you, because this is a woman that you're going to have to always and always impress, because she comes from nothing. So I'll ask you again, what can you do with a woman for nothing, from nothing? Well, put her on Onlyfans, and that's where you find these girls. That is a den and a coven for witches. A den and a coven for witches, with a witch's brew is served to you in temptation. Venus, Aphrodite, the spirit of them, the spirit of Lilith. That's what these women are. There was a time in history at one time what they called the time of worshiping women. And the Greeks, they kind of emphasized this more than anybody. And women worship, it didn't go too far. In fact, their whole civilization got destroyed because of that. You can look that up for yourself. I don't have to impress you. Their whole civilization got demolished from worshiping. The type of worshiping you guys are doing is lust. The age-old one. There's a place in the realm in hell in that. In the seas and the storms of lust. If you don't know what that is, just go check out Dante's Inferno. You'll understand very clearly. You guys are complaining about the same women that you empower through your dollar and your lust. And it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them. It's okay to tell a woman she's ugly, or you're not all that. It's okay to tell a man you're ugly, you're not all that too. It's okay. Listen, you're ugly. We know you're ugly. We're looking at you. But quit trying to convince us and send some subliminal message in our head like you're a wizard or something, or a sorceress. You're like, hipple, whipple, whipple, do. Don't I look good to you? No. And that's why I said you guys have got to start not buying into this whole bullshit that you're doing what you're doing to empower women. I've got two sisters. My sisters have busted their ass to get their careers, okay? Busted their ass. I busted my ass, and some of it was luck. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I got with Bad Boy Entertainment, it was definitely a stroke of luck, but it was also ambition, because that's what I was searching for at the time, and that string of luck connected with my ambition, and voila, case is solved. And that's what most of y'all know me from. I don't talk about stuff like this. Usually I'm talking about something in the music business, or I'm talking about social issues or whatever. But this is one right here that I had to pan on, because everybody on YouTube nowadays wants to be a fucking relationship expert. I had a great relationship for 7 years. Beautiful. It broke up because I didn't give her time enough in the beginning to decide whether or not she was still in love with her ex. And as part of that, I fell victim to that. Now, is that her fault? No, that's my fault. That's my fault. I'm going to tell you how it's my fault. Because I kept pressuring her and saying, hey, listen, what's going on? Da-da-da-da-da-da. I got my own crib. Look, I live over here by the beach on the shoreline. You could walk down the block and go to the beach. You know, all that was in my delivery. You understand what I'm saying? So when she looked at her surroundings, I know what it was. When she looked at her surroundings and she said to herself, well, shit, I might as well. Because dude that she was with priorly, he lived with mom. That's another conversation. If you over 18, why the fuck you still at the house unless you getting ready to head to college? You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my cousin Mario and Carlisle, we left the house when we were 17 years old. My uncle gave us the money to get our own place. I ain't never went back. Never went back. Never went back. Never went back. That's what I try to express to you guys. But one thing I will say about my ex, and I very rarely say anything wrong about her. One thing I will say about my ex, based on the religious background that she came from, which is one of the reasons I picked up, The modest way she dressed, which is one of the ways that I picked her. She now works at Yale. Shout out to her. Shout out to my state, Connecticut. Um, I live in Stanford, but Yale University is at New Haven. Based off all that and the litany of different women I dated before then that I have relationships with, none of those women, even after I left them, turned into tramps. None of those women after I left them turned into anything other than what they were from the beginning when I dated them. My ex, when we broke up, I was encouraging her to go back to college. I'm a college graduate. So I was encouraging her to go back to college. I offered money up to help her go back to college or whatever, like a damn motherfucker should do, you know? And I'm glad that after she and her and I, myself, we broke up, she went that route. But a lot of times, girls, when they break up with men, first thing they do is go to Onlyfans. I'm gonna show him I'm going to Onlyfans. You gonna show me, huh? You showed me. Okay, you win. Sometimes you gotta be that. You know what? You win. You win now. You're on OnlyFans. I got you, sweetheart. I've never had one of my exes do that. I've never had one of my exes get online and start doing scantily clad photos that later on could be retrieved and put in place in front of your kids now in 5th, 6th, or 7th grade. And a lot of you women that are doing these OnlyFans accounts, you have kids. Guys, that's all I wanted to say about that. I just want to say, men, honestly and truthfully, you got to start making some better decisions. And one of the best decisions you could do is stop fucking endorsing whores. And that way they won't get in your face and be like, haha, I make more money than you. Of course you do. You take your clothes off for a living. You take your clothes off for a living. That's like Hugh Hefner, God bless his heart, coming to me and being like, you know what, I got all the chicks. You run a porn site, of course you do. Oh man, there's so many different ways I could go about this, and I don't want to do it because I don't want to insult anybody. My purpose here is not to insult women. It's just to enlighten you ladies about some couple of things. I don't want to insult you. I have a lot of women followers, over the 10,000 plus that follow me. A lot of those views, that 1.9 million views, you ladies were responsible for that, and I thank you. I thank you. But I would be at a disservice to you if I didn't tell you what was coming along. And if you're 20, 21, 22, even 19 doing OnlyFans, evidently there wasn't a man in your life that told you, no, baby, you can't do that. I remember the words of Chris Rock, my only job in life is to keep my daughter off the pole. Where those daddies at? My only job in life, and I don't have kids, but if I did have a daughter, that'd be my job in life, to keep my daughter off the pole. I like some of these videos I'm seeing lately, so I know it backs me, where you see these ladies, I don't know if you guys have seen them, where these ladies, they catch their daughters doing this stuff, 13, 14, 15 years old, they're telling men online. I saw one just recently. Did y'all see the one with the girl with the tank top? And I was like, well, no wonder your daughter's acting like that. Look how you're dressed and look how she's dressed. That doesn't make an excuse about it, but can you get what I'm saying? Can you get the gist of what I'm saying? This girl is doing this because of influence of something she's seen displayed in your household. Now, a lot of these mothers, they're teen mothers. A lot of people don't come to this realization. A lot of these mothers are 12, 13 years old when they're having their children. We've had a whole generation of it. MTV had a show called 16 and Pregnant that ran for almost 6-7 seasons. They did reunions to go back and see what happened to the girls. Some of the girls passed away and died. Yeah, some of the girls passed away and died. I've had friends in the music business that have passed away and died. So when you're in that life and you're moving, I think it equates to the same thing if you're moving too fast. I tell a lot of people that a lot, not just in the realm of dating, but also in the music business. A lot of people now is different from when I started. A lot of people are consuming a lot of different drugs. A lot of people think when these rappers are dying, a lot of them are dying from gunshots. A lot of them are dying from drug overdoses. A lot of them. The whole time that I was in that business, I remember 2 guys passing away, maybe 4 guys passing away, tops. Now, I did a video probably a year ago, if you guys remember that and y'all caught that. And at that time, it was 32 rappers that were killed within the past 4 years for somehow means or another. And it doesn't just extend to rap artists. There's a whole bunch of pop artists, alternative artists, and everybody else. We dealt with a little bit of everybody. Our distributors were BMG, which is Bertelsmann Music Group. It's a German conglomerate. Later on after that, we went to Atlantic Records. Later on after that, we went to Interscope Records. So I went through 3 different distributors, right? And those 3 different distributors we went through, each one had their own different, you know what I mean, gist of things or whatever the case may be, but the partying was all the same. When we're in Miami, when we're in Cali, when we're in Arizona, I'm messing Tempe, wherever we're at, Las Vegas, wherever, the partying is still consistent of the same. You know why? Because it's a vibe. And if you get caught too much in that vibe, you can catch you a coke habit, you can go broke, you can go leasing shit you can't afford, taking a renter for 5 months, you know what I mean? Leasing chains and watches and shit. Oh, they ain't tell you? Oh, that shit is leased. Out there, anybody, hey, yo, listen, Big Face Gary, Rockefeller Records, Choke No Joke, Rockefeller Records. Any of y'all come to my page and tell me I'm lying. Half of that stuff that them dudes be having, cars, the cribs, everything. My boss, Sean Prez, was in charge of leasing some of that stuff for the artists when they went to go film. Or at least sub-coordinate for it, you know? But the watches, a lot of times, and sometimes you'll get some artists, higher elk, higher tier, they'll own their stuff. You know, if they've been in the game for 3, 4, 5 years, it ain't no reason you shouldn't have $10, $15 million at your disposal. If you've been in the game for 4 or 5 years, it should, at a minimum, you should have $15 million at your disposal at any given time. Just save to the side. You don't believe me? Ask Choke No Joke. Ask Star. If you're a successful artist, and you would have to be successful if you're around for 4 or 5 years. In today's climate, we're dealing with streaming. We're not even dealing with physical entities anymore. The partying is the same. The lifestyle is the same, and it's intensified over the years, where now it's more diligent on how many drugs do you do? How many men do you sleep with? Do you want to come to this party? Did y'all see that video with Future? And the girl, I think she was French or something, she was in the bath, and she was stark naked. And she was speaking broken English. She was like, I'm here for you. She said, no, you're here for us. You're here for us. And she was cool with that because of the surroundings and the ambiance she was within. You understand what I'm saying? She was cool with that. She was cool with that. Did y'all see that? It looked like a Grecian bathhouse, that hotel. That was a junior suite, but it was nice. Guys, let me tell y'all something. And ladies, I'm going to end this real quick, and then I'm going to move on. I got another live to do with y'all. We're going to talk about Biden a little bit, these protesters, all that shit or whatever, because midterms are coming up, and all these, including Ed Lamont out of my state, all these fucking constituencies are coming together. But what can we do to really win them over, get them vote? Absolutely fucking nothing. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Because damn sure it gonna be Joe Biden's my motherfucking choice. That fucking racist motherfucker. Y'all call Trump racist as hell, right? And I see a lot of y'all waking up. And if a lot of y'all didn't see my video, I know this is off topic, but I gotta say it real quick. Y'all remember my video I did, and it's still up, and I'll share it in the community section. I was standing right in front of Trump Tower during election day. And I had people riding up and down the block saying all kinds of shit to me because they recognize me or whatever the case may be. Cool. Catch me on YouTube, bitch. Share it to a friend. You know what I'm saying? And subscribe. And don't forget to donate. $STRINGERBELL80 on Cash App. Also, there's a PayPal link and a GoFundMe link in the description box. Also, there's an Amazon wish list. Make sure y'all guys hit that up. When I was in front of there, and this was election day, literally, no winner had been announced or nothing like that. They were still going to the ballot. I was there around about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said at that time, I said, maybe we're going to look back at this and we're going to say Biden was a bad fucking choice. And I think the litany of most of my, I'm going to save this discussion, but the litany of my people, black and Latino, they didn't realize his background with the Dixiecrats. Now, Trump is from fucking Queens. To be quite exact, I think he's from Jamaica Estates out there in Queens, all right? He's a townie. That's how we call it in Connecticut anyway. He's a town. Joe Biden, on the other hand, supporters, white supremacists, and I'm not talking about white men, I'm talking about white supremacists, segregationists. It's a very big difference. I live around Italians, the Greek I was raised around. I'm not talking about them. No. I can rock with them. Let's get a beer, let's get some whiskey. Yo, what you doing? It's Christmases with white folks, all kinds of other shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a hard separatist that even white folks don't even like. And unless you're born and raised in this country, you're not going to know the definition of that. And that's why so many Latin people and so many black people, they flocked to go vote for this motherfucker. And when they found out in the end was, he's actually worse than Trump. If you say Trump is worse, he's actually worse. On what scale isn't he? On what scale isn't he? He promised you a full stimulus check. He's elected all these women to positions or whatever, which I ain't got no problem with that, but you ain't lifted your hand to lift one man into a position. And those are all campaign promises, if you ask me. We'll get you elected, but you got to do this, you know? Crazy. Ladies, get the hell off the OnlyFans. Fellas, stop spending your money on OnlyFans. And more importantly, start loving each other. Jesus Christ. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I'm about to head to the next destination, start another one for you. I just wanted to do this little short one for you. It's about 30 minutes. What am I, 29.9, 10, 11, 12? Okay, so make sure you guys hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Again, that's Stringer Bell 80. Again, Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Also, make sure you hit up the PayPal or GoFundMe link if you do not have Cash App. I know a lot of people, they don't want to sign up for it, blah, 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 blah. So I get it. One time in, one time out. I don't keep the credit card information, nor does Google, or nor does GoFundMe or PayPal, which is owned by Google. So yeah, I'm halfway right. Anyway, guys, make sure you hit those up, and I will be back with you probably like in, I don't know, like in 10, 15 minutes or whatever. I'm going to get me something to eat in because I'm starving. I'm dying, man. So make sure you do that and hit it up and get a nice little lunch or something like that or whatever. I put in a lot of work. And guys, I put up about 6 videos yesterday, so go check all those videos out because I'm going to include some of that in there. I'll also put it in the description box or whatever the case may be, and also be in the pinned comment. Again, $ STRINGERBELL80. I'll talk to you guys later.